Okay, so we are now going to look at problem number two. And with problem number two, we are looking at the resistors in this problem. Let me see under web work. So this problem is basically it basically states, we're going to make measurements of a resistor with three different methods. And even though I'm calling this resistor 1, resistor 2, and resistor 3, it's really the same resistor, but the devices that we're using have, they're giving three different readings. And so with those three devices, you can see here with device number 1, we have 182.2 plus or minus 8 ohms. Device number 2, 79 plus or minus 3 ohms. And then device number 3, 106.6 plus or minus 4.5 ohms. So what is one of the first things that we're going to do here? Let me go back to, we need to find the average. Okay, so basically we want to find the average resistance and we want to find the uncertainty in that average. Okay, and so right now I'm labeling that as A, but I'll change that shortly. But right now, this is A, and then delta A is going to be the uncertainty in that average. So we have to carefully analyze that. And that should be uncertainty in the average resistor measurements. So now let's just go ahead and solve for the average resistance. And we're going to divide that by 3. Let's change this to a decimal format, and you'll see that my answer happens to be 122.6 ohms. Now I'm just going to go ahead and change that A to R sub average. Didn't have to do this. To me, it just makes it clear. Often when I'm looking at A, I'm thinking about the area. When I see R, I'm thinking about the resistance. So as to not confuse myself, I'm rewriting it, which may pose some confusion on your part. So let's move past that. And let's find this uncertainty. So we're pretty much following the same methods that are found in the lab manual. And you'll see that this is going to be squared. And then because we have a sum over a number, we're going to have a particular kind of equation. And again, it is following what's in the lab manual. So this is the change or the uncertainty of the sum over the sum of the resistance plus delta n, which in this particular case, we are using three different measuring devices. And so the n, we're certain that we have three different devices. So that piece will just go to 0. All right, so now there are a couple of other things that we need to do. And you know that the sum, well, before the sum, let's just say we have delta R average over R average equals to delta R sum over R sum, because both of those are being squared out. And now we have the average uncertainty equals to the uncertainty in the sum over the sum times the average. So now it's a matter of finding the uncertainty in the sum as well as the sum. We have the average, and we'll just plug those numbers in. So the uncertainty in the sum is just going to be squared according to the lab manual. We have the measurement from our first device, our first resistive measuring device, if I can say it like that, or resistance measuring device. Then we have our second resistance measuring device, and then our third resistance measuring device. And now, since we know those uncertainties for each one of them, we can calculate the uncertainty for the sum. And of course, it's just the square root of all of that was aforementioned. Yep, it's just that. So now we're going to substitute in 8 ohms for the first resistive measuring device, 3 ohms for the second resistive measuring device, and then 4.5 ohms for the third resistive measuring device. But before that, we are going to find the sum. So R sub S is just 367.8 ohms. Now, the uncertainty in R sub S is going to be calculated. And so you'll see that we have 9.656604. And I'm going to keep the entire number until the end so as to avoid rounding error. But we're going to plug all of these numbers back into our equation for the uncertainty in the average now. There we have it. We are going to, well, there is an error in this calculation, As opposed to 362.8, it should be 367.8. So I'm actually off in the hundredths place by 4 points. And I will correct that shortly. There we go. So I end up with, I still didn't change it. Okay, 3.67.8. You'll see that now I have 3.22, and that's what I'm going to place into my web work. Thank you. See you in the next problem.